They were humble beginnings. The Webb brothers were raised here at Thornside, a family farm at Widgie, west of Gympie.
I've been a wayward wanderer, but found I like to rest in my home up in the mountains, the place I love the best.
Marius, Fabian and Bered Webb grew up working the cattle and strumming guitars. In the early 80s, they had a hit. Who Put the Roux in the Stew soared up the charts to #1.
The Colonel put the lickin' in the chicken butt. Who put the roux in the stew? Who put the roux in the stew?
They won a golden guitar. It called for a celebration, which also recognised the family property's 100th birthday.
We were in the cattle yards and it was lunch. We boiled a billy and I think I brought up the subject. Now, what are we going to do about this celebration? And I think Bered jumped in and said, well, how about we call it a muster, because we've been mustering cattle for all our lives. How about we muster up a few people?
Marius Webb died earlier this year. The muster is his legacy.
He must have looked in a crystal ball, 'cause these days your main course has them, and you don't know they're in there at all. And you don't know they're in there at all.
In the early years, main stage was built from tin and tarps. The camping facilities were modest. The showers were made from jam tins punched with holes. 2,000 people watched from the hill. 2 years later, 10,000 were mustered.
Well, the stage, it was about there, wasn't it? All the people were up there.
We thought, why not bring some of our fans back into the bush and have some country music in the country.
It became too big for Thornside, so a new site was built in the Amamore State Forest. Sunshine Television, which is now Channel 7, broadcast the event. It was backed by the local Apex Club.
From the Amamore State Forest in Queensland, Australia's biggest outdoor country music spectacular, the 1985 Commonwealth Bank Country Music Muster.
The site was officially opened by Slim Dusty in 1986. There was no one more appropriate than Slim to christen this humble stage.
The windscreen wipers are a beating in time. The song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me.
He was a muster regular and favourite.
Festivals like this and the atmosphere of the gum trees and the bush and the Australian landscape, that's what's being injected into our songs.
The muster has also fostered young talent. This is a fresh-faced Keith Urban in 1990, the year he won Star Maker. 12 months on and a new blonde look for the Caboolture crooner. He last performed on main stage in 1999. The 90s were tough for our farming families. Drought crippled regional Australia. John Farnham's drought appeal delivered rain.
The sun goes down on a cloudless sky. The tide is in the waters high. Fishermen are back in town. Tonight they leave and drink your crown. Wait for rain to come down.
The muster donated all profits to drought relief and the Rural Aid Appeal was born. The event has since raised nearly $15 million for charity. They've given money to drought-affected regions and helped bushfire victims. This year, the muster is harnessing the generosity of Australians once again. Its selected charity partner is the Buy a Bale campaign. Although we've seen some summer rain in coastal areas, the situation in parts of regional Australia, particularly in Queensland, is dire. Stock are starving, and the funds raised by this campaign go directly to farmers. Bales of fodder cost between $20 and $100. They're delivered to those who need it most. Songstress Sarah Storer knows this battle more than anyone.
Don't let our country die. Let's wash the dog away. Wash him off the chain. Oh, let's burst a bank, fill the tank. This I pray.
She grew up farming in country Victoria and now lives with her husband and 3 boys on the Victoria-New South Wales border. She's blazed back on the music scene after 6 years off raising her family. The muster will have extra special meaning for Sarah this year. She's the ambassador of the Buy a Bale campaign. Her homespun tunes seem to speak straight from the heart of every Australian farmer. In many ways, they're stories that hardened men and women of the bush would never share. She writes of tough times, family life and proud traditions, honouring the characters on the land.
Mum and Dad are home, sitting round the table. Dad's got his face buried in his hands. I've never seen Dad cry, didn't think that he was able.
This pass-the-hat-around mentality is what sets the muster apart and what attracts big entertainers year after year. Still to come, the who's who of country music take to main stage, the international artists who've thrilled crowds and the favourites who keep coming back for more.